back to Libby's Auto Care. Tonight we're going to tackle a brake job on the front for a 2020 F350, excuse me, the Super Duty. So first things first, I'm going to jack up the vehicle, chock the wheels, so make sure safety first. I'm going to do that, be right back. Next, we're going to go ahead and take the tire off. This is going to be a 21 millimeter lug nut. These caps do remove, so if your socket is rubbing on here, you can simply remove this. Mine seems to be good. One good thing you can do while you have this up is check the wheel bearings. As they play, top to bottom. You may check a tie rod or a ball joint, something like that, but this one's good. I'm going to go ahead and take the tire off. Be right back with you. I just got the tire off. Now I'm going to show you how to take off the caliper and the bracket in case you're doing rotors. One tip I want to share is if you push this caliper back a little bit, it's going to make it easier to get back. So take a screwdriver, something like that. Just kind of pry it back a little bit. That helps get the caliper pushed back just barely enough to help it slip off. Now I'll show you what bolts to remove. First bolt that we want to take off is for the caliper sliders. Now this is a 16 millimeter. Also right here, 16 millimeter. Once we have that off, then we can take the caliper bracket off by this bigger nut right here, which is a 21 millimeter, and one on the top, right behind the caliper one. You'll take those two off. I'm gonna do that now. Be right back with you. Now mine's spinning a bit, so you might have to take pliers and hold this slide and keep it from spinning. Caliper pulls up just like that. What I like to do is I have an S hook that can go in the side of the caliper, and you can hang it from the frame right out of the way. I have my caliper hung up. I got my S hook on it, and I just attach it to the frame. It's out of the way. You want to make sure you're not really pinching the brake line or anything. That could cause damage, get a leak, and then a bigger job comes. So make sure you're careful with that. Next, I'm going to show you kind of how the pads are set up and the hardware and what you need to take out and replace. You can see we have our inner pad and our outer pad. This has a lot of brake life left on it. I just did it, but we're going to show you on the video so you know how to do it yourself. First thing I'll do is remove the brake pad. It's pretty simple. You just slide it right out of the hardware. There's hardware on the bottom and hardware on the top. We're going to take the inside pad out. Again, pretty simple on this model. I like to lay that on the inside and my outside so I know which one goes where when I'm replacing the new pads. Next thing, like I said, we're going to be taking off this bracket. That's how allow us going to be able to take this rotor off and replace it. I'm going to go ahead and get that done real quick, and I'll show you what to clean. All right, so I broke these free with the breaker bar. I am going to use a ratcheting wrench to speed things up. I like to start with the bottom. We'll just slide straight off. Now we're going to take the hardware off, and we're either going to replace it or we're going to clean that hardware, and then we're going to put the caliper grease on there, make sure everything slides smooth and there's no squeaking. Be right back. All right, so I have the caliper bracket off. I'm going to show you exactly what to clean. I'm going to show you kind of what I'm using here. If you're replacing this hardware, you're going to want a flathead. You can just easily pop under it, pry it off. I'll replace these, so I'm just going to be cleaning it today. I'm going to use a wire brush. You can use like a copper one, or they make a couple different ones, but it needs to be thick bristle. And then I'll also take you through the process of these caliper slides. We're going to take them apart, clean them, re-grease them. So first thing I'll do is the brake cleaner. I'm going to hit these hardware real quick, and then I'm going to scrub it. Now you can see the difference when that hardware is all clean. The next thing you want to do is just make sure this hardware is not sticking out. I'm going to show you what I mean on a close-up. If this hardware is sticking further than the notch, that could scratch your rotor, cause some noises, you know, damage the rotor. So take a moment and make sure all your hardware is clean, pressed in all the way. Now we're just going to go ahead and lube the caliper pins. So what you want to do is hold the sleeve back, this garment, I'm not sure exactly what you want to call it. Inspect it, make sure it's not ripped, because that can get dirt, water in there, cause some problems. These look good. Let's go ahead and clean this. And you do want to hit that ridge up here as well, where the boot sits. Awesome. Okay, I've just cleaned my hardware and I made sure to grease the slides as well. Now it's time to go ahead and put the caliper grease, brake grease, whatever you're using, on the hardware. Doesn't have to be a super thick layer, just a little something. And then you're going to do that for the other side. Okay, we're just about to reinstall our caliper bracket. A couple of things. We'll just clean up the surface real quick. Make sure it has a nice surface to mate up to. Before we put it on, we are going to go ahead and press in our pistons. This is a dual caliper piston right here. You can also clean this part. I recommend it. Might as well clean that up, and instead of installing new pads, you have your all brake dust in there. Spend a couple minutes, clean up those ears. That'll keep the new pads nice and clean. So I'm going to get the tools. I'll show you how to do this. All right, we're about to press the caliper in. They make a lot of different tools for this. You can see one, this has a simple clamp. This works well for a single piston. This is a dual one, so I'll show you a couple different options. You can pick this up like O'Reilly's, AutoZone, something like that, Amazon, I'm sure. They have a different tool that I picked up. This one is good for a single and a double. It's got these plates. Now, my pistons are they're almost in, because I've just, again, recently done this job. I'm just showing you how to do it. So the good, old, reliable, that never lets me down. It's a pair of big old channel locks. And then like a clamp, you hold one up and just press the other one. I'll go ahead and start doing that, show you what I mean. Okay. What I've done is I've taken an old brake pad and put it up against the piston so we can push, so we don't damage our piston. You want to make sure it's pretty centered. If you push on the left, you know, you can just cause problems with the piston, so make sure it's centered. I have the clamp where it's open, where I can access it. I'll start pressing the top in. See if we can give you a better look here. You can see it slowly push in. Tighten up the lower one a little bit. Start pressing the top again. And once it bottoms out, you're good to go. Okay, I got my brake lubricant here. What we want to do is put a little bit on the piston. That quiets it down from the chatter. You also want to make sure you get these ears, all three of them. Basically anywhere that brake pad's gonna touch, lubricate. Perfect. Okay, we are just about to reinstall the caliper bracket. I wanted to talk about thread locker, putting it on the bolts, kind of like a little insurance, you know, make sure just in case, holds it together. Just put a little on there like that. Do it for each bolt. All right, let's get this installed. Okay, we just got our pistons pressed in and our lube added. We are installing the caliper bracket. Slide it up. We got our thread lock on there. Just give it a couple of turns, and then get your second bolt going. You always want to use hand tools to put these in. So the bolts from the bracket is 203 foot-pounds of torque, and the caliper slides is 55. I'll go ahead and get those done. That's how you know it's torqued. Let's check the top again. Perfect. All right, we just got our bracket back on and torqued. We're gonna put our pads in. So you do want to put a little grease on the ears here, but on that side. So wherever it's gonna meet metal, you want it to go smooth. Get the other side. Do the same thing for the other pad. Okay, I just got my pad lubed on the ears. Let's install it. I like to start with the inner pad. When it's flush, you're good to go. Let's go ahead and install the other one. Got it lined up. Couple of rotations where it will hold. Now you can see on this bolt, they've got a bunch of buildup on that. So we're gonna have to take it to the wire wheel, clean it up before installation. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we're gonna clean the buildup off this bolt. Make sure you got your safety glasses, that's important. I'm using just a locking pliers. It's locked in. Alright, our caliper has been reinstalled. We're going to tighten up these bolts again. I do those by hand. And then I'm going to torque these to 55 foot-pounds. Now, we're going to go ahead and put our tire back on. Go ahead and put your lug nuts on. Now we're going to lower our jack down. Go ahead and lower my jack until my tire touches the ground a little bit. Then I'm going to torque the lug nuts. Alright guys, got my tire back on. I'm going to go ahead and torque the lug nuts to 150 foot-pounds. Now that I've done my star pattern for safety, I'm going to go around in a circle, just make sure they're all done. Alright guys, job's done. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. I'll make sure to reply. And make sure you like and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you next time. Thank you.